Hello everyone, my name is Martin Hutchins Jr. and I'm a May 2019 graduate from SLU Law, and I'm currently working for the not-for-profit legal organization Arch City Defenders in St. Louis, Missouri as the Racial Justice Fellow. And my favorite aspect of SLU Law by far are going to be the clinics. The legal clinics is what really allowed me to feel like a practice-ready graduate. And in speaking about the just overall awesome nature of the clinics, the feature that really sticks out as one of the best features is the fact that the professors really value and treat the law students as valuable, equal members of the legal team. And so to this, I'm going to speak to two specific experiences. One comes from my time as a criminal litigation clinic student, and during this time I had the opportunity to prepare and argue a motion for sanctions. Now, very quickly, a motion for sanctions is just a request made to the court for the court to step in and issue some sort of reprimand for one of the sides. And that will be requested if a party, meaning the plaintiff or defendant, either failed to do something that they were supposed to do by law or something that the court may have told them to do, for instance, turn over evidence within a month. And so whenever you request sanctions, you're telling the court, hey, court, the other side either failed to do something that they were supposed to do or they did something really egregious or irresponsible, so please reprimand them in some sort of way. In arguing this motion, I had the opportunity to open up the argument once the judge was ready to discuss the motion, and that included the prosecutor making their rebuttal argument, my addressing their rebuttal argument, and then witnessing my professor also jump in to support the argument that I made. And I really appreciated that because, one, this allowed me to see that my professor thoroughly read the motion that I prepared, which included her doing some background investigation into some of the materials that I referenced and cited in my motion. And this was super apparent because when she came in to support my argument, her statements really correlated my overall argument, and it was really clear that she had read some of the cases that I mentioned in my motion. And so just to see us functioning as such an effective tag team, and I'm going to say an effective tag team because our motion was ultimately granted, it was just really rewarding. It was rewarding because, one, I had the opportunity to call my client and let them know that our motion was granted and their case was ultimately dismissed by the state, which of course the client was really happy about. And it also gave me the opportunity to have an experience to reference in my upcoming interviews for internships and post-graduation employment opportunities. And so it was just really rewarding to be able to, again, give my client the outcome that they wanted and to have a win as a law student. And secondly, with the civil litigation clinic, I had the opportunity to being engaged in an alternative dispute resolution, which just means an effort being made by both parties or the various parties of an upcoming lawsuit to try to settle the matter outside of court. And so here we were engaged in a settlement conference that ultimately resulted in our client receiving a pretty hefty financial settlement. And so here, my professor, who had been practicing in his own career for many years, a couple of decades at this time, he wasn't really familiar with a new tool that's included in one of the databases that we use. And this tool was called the settlement tool. And in utilizing the settlement tool, I prepared a few materials and presented them to my professor, and we had a super quick discussion about it. And after having this discussion and being at the meeting, witnessing my professor pull out the material that I just discussed with him and heavily rely on it, and the arguments that he made was just really rewarding because, again, I realized that I just educated my professor about the settlement tool, which again was something he wasn't familiar with. I obviously was able to break it down enough to make him understand and to be comfortable with it, comfortable enough to actually use it. And so to just witness more fruits of my labor in that settlement agreement and seeing my professor use the material I prepared for him just really allowed me to give myself an internal pat on the back, because I gave my professor some materials that he thought was really valuable. And again, this resulted in our client reaching an outcome that was favorable to them. So just, again, realizing that they really valued my input was extremely rewarding. So once you are at SLU Law, and when you decide to engage in clinic, please be prepared to realize that the work that you're doing isn't just busy work. You aren't just there to receive credit. You are actually a well-respected, valuable member of the legal team, and these clinic professors absolutely value you and are going to give you an excellent platform to get experience through the clinic.